ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat and buckle up. Seat backs and tray tables in their full upright position. It's another episode of Skip Happens. A view from 30,000 feet. From the first music lesson to the first paid gig to signing the deal, it's the journey that is the life of an artist. Now, here's your captain and co-captain, a.k.a. your hosts, Skip Clark
That's me.
and Deb Lamphear.
She's not here. Deb is not here tonight, but I am Skip Clark, just like the big guy said, the host of Skip Happens. Deb is actually on a plane heading back to Nashville. And she's there like, it seems like it's every other day, but lately it's been like every other week. She's got business there and an audience company and working with the official country music fan club. So she will not be joining me tonight. I don't think they let her do that from the plane. But anyways, I've got a great guest here tonight. And before we get into it, I'm going to play a little bit of this. And then we'll take it from there. Here we go. Listen up, everybody. This is cool. Listen.
3 a.m. and you're pulling me in. Tattooed skin and a little bit of gin. Your green eyes got me feeling right, and your smile's got me hypnotized. Some say it's a dangerous game. What a shame if I didn't play.
Wow.
If you play your cards and I roll my dice, I'm all in if I'm yours tonight.
Dang.
Don't be a joker or play me for a fool.
All right. I'm not going to spoil it right now. That is phenomenal. That is that young lady. If you're looking at your screen on the left-hand side, obviously it's not me. Presley Tennant is with me here tonight on Skip Happens. How are you?
I am doing so good. How are you?
I am doing well. Wow, that went down quick. Sorry. Usually it's a nice, easy fade. I think my finger slipped on the what we call a pot right down. But I'm doing good. I'm doing real well. You are, well, we're coast to coast tonight. Tell everybody, where are you?
I am from Norco, California. And yeah, I'm in Southern California. It's a little small town down south. So
yeah, what's the closest big town, big city?
Yeah, I'm literally right in between LA, San Diego, and Palm Springs. So like a little closer to like Anaheim though. So like more beach area, but still Inland Empire. So
wow, it sounds so nice. I mean, I've been to San Diego, I've been to LA with some meetings and stuff like that, but more or less, most of the time, I'm right here in the Northeast, in the cold and the snow, while you're out on the beach enjoying the sun.
Hey, I love the snow though. I go snowboarding all the time. Whenever there is some snow around here, the mountains are only like an hour away from me. That's the beauty about California. You get a little bit of everything. It's all within an hour to like 2 hours of each other. So that's the only nice part.
I like that. I went to Arizona once, and down in the desert, it was really hot. Then we went to Pine Top, up the mountain we went, and all of a sudden we're like driving through snow.
Yep.
And it's like there was a ski resort. I said, this is so cool. You get the best of both worlds.
Oh yeah. And then you go like another couple hours and you're at the lake.
Yep.
And everyone's out there. Yep.
It's crazy. Wow. That's a whole nother conversation. But Presley Tennant is joining me here tonight. Presley, you heard her voice. That is that young lady. And you may have heard that voice before because she is a product of The Voice, season 16.
Oh yeah.
Did I get that right? I know. I was looking at it earlier. I was going to mess it up. But what was that whole experience like for you with The Voice?
For me, The Voice was one of the best experiences I have ever had. I was 16 when I was on it. And so, I mean, I'm still fairly young, but I definitely was younger at the time. And I was still trying to figure out myself and who I was as an artist. I mean, right before The Voice, I thought I knew exactly where I was going to go. And I feel like every 16-year-old says that. They're like, oh, I know exactly who I am. No one tells me no, that type of thing. But I was like, I felt that. And then I went on The Voice and I was like, this really isn't who I am. Like, not necessarily during The Voice, but who I was as an artist making music. Because right before I was making a lot of music and I was in the studio all the time. I was always writing, always recording, co-writing. And it just started to not feel like myself. And I knew that at the end of the day, I'm putting out music because I want to put out music because I love what I do. And so if I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, I need to make sure that it is who I am and I'm not being led or persuaded to be something that I'm not, because ultimately at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to be happy with it. And I have to be have the utmost confidence in myself for other people to actually believe in me. Because you can only go so far with not believing in yourself, because then no one else starts to believe you. Yeah, they may like it, but it's not authentic. And so that's something that always stuck with me. And so when I was on The Voice, I was just surrounded by so many incredible musicians that always were playing. I mean, we'd have jam sessions every single night. And
Ever feel like intimidated?
No, honestly, I went in to The Voice as this is like a learning experience for me.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't like an end all or be all. I know a lot of people on the show are trying, or not a lot of people, but there are people that go on the show and they're like, this is my chance. This is the one chance I have. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm just having fun with it. Like, I'm going to give it my all and work my butt off. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. This isn't my time. It's going to come. And so my thing was, as long as I put in the work and put in the effort, I know I'm going to get to where I want to be. And so when I was on the show, like I was surrounded by incredible musicians. My coach was Kelly Clarkson, who I've looked up to.
Right. I was going to ask you about that, how that was. Yeah. So that's crazy. Do you guys still keep in touch or no?
I mean, I can reach out to her, but I also know that she's a busy woman. I mean, she has so many different things going on. She has The Voice, she has her talk show, and now she has like American Song Contest or American Song something.
Yes.
With Snoop Dogg. So I'm like, she's a busy woman. Like, she is so kind, and I know I could always reach out to her. But I mean, I was fortunate enough. She reached out to me right after actually The Voice ended for my 17th birthday. She was like, hey, I'm doing a show out in Vegas. I'd love for you to come out and sing. And I was like, did this just happen? I was like, oh my God, this is my.
Did you go? Did you get on that stage in Vegas?
I did. We had
Presley, that is awesome.
It was the coolest thing ever. It was my 17th birthday. I got to sing her song Because of You with her, and she brought me out a cake and sang me happy birthday on stage. It was like the coolest, most like loving and wholesome feeling that anyone could ever have.
What an experience for somebody, especially your age. What an experience. I'm going to tell you a lot right there, and your work ethic for your age.
I always made jokes about it afterwards. I was like, hey, Dad, this is my 17th birthday. So who am I performing with next year? Like, what's going on? It didn't happen. We passed on that one.
If you don't mind, I'd like to back it up a little bit further. What got you motivated to go to The Voice in the first place? Why did somebody say, hey, you need to do this? Or were you doing it on your own or what?
So I had a bunch of friends that were on it in the past, and they loved every bit of the experience. And they were also like me. They were very young at the time when they did it. And so they were like, if you're going to do anything, like, you should go on The Voice. Like, even if nothing comes out of it, or you still are on there, you make some of the you become friends with some of the most incredible people. I was going to say incrazing people, which is like incredible and amazing. Not a word. And so they kind of like gave me like okay, this could be fun. And so I wasn't thinking too much about it until they reached out to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Why not? Like, I feel like I'm ready. And I also was thinking about it earlier, prior to when I was 16. And then I was, I think, 13. The age limit was 15.
Oh, wow.
When I was 14, they brought down the age limit to 13. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for it yet. I want to make sure I can go on there and I'd be happy with the result. Not that I wouldn't be, but that I know what I'm doing. And I have more life experiences and more technique and being able to practice and being on stage. And so when I was 16, I was like, you know what, the time is right. I'm ready for this right now. So that was kind of what motivated me to go on.
And then you have to go and try out, and you hope to get a letter saying you've been accepted. Is that how it works?
So there's so many different processes that you can go through. I know that a lot of my friends did the cattle calls.
Yeah, right.
There's like thousands of people online. You all stand in a line, you sing like 10 seconds of a song, and they're like, okay, these people are going through. And the others, I'm so sorry, you got to move on. And then there was online auditions, and then there was the private auditions. I got invited to come out to Burbank, which is very close to me, so it was easy. And I did my couple rounds there, and there's just so many different processes of callbacks to even getting there. But I mean, all of it was worth it. I felt like it was months of callbacks until we finally reached blind auditions. But I mean, I had the best time ever.
So how soon is it? Well, the blind auditions, but when you really, the first time seeing the big stars, the first time you see the chairs with the artist in it, how far along is that into the show?
That is the first episode that you see, and that is blind auditions.
Okay.
And that's like when you, like, the double doors open.
Right. Okay.
Stage, and the chairs are right there with Blake and Kelly and John and Adam. They're all there.
That's crazy. I'd be like, oh my God.
The entire process leading up to it, I was like feeling on top of the world. I was like, I know my stuff. I'm just gonna go give it my all. Like, they're gonna turn for me. And then all of a sudden, the day of, and like the doors started to open, I was like, oh my God, this is happening right now. I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready whatsoever. Someone can pinch me. And so I walked on stage, and my knees started to buckle, and then
oh my gosh,
heels, and I had to go up a couple steps, and I thought I was gonna trip on the steps, and everyone's gonna see me and laugh, and I'm like, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna trip, and then I get on stage, and my knees are still shaking. I'm like, feel like a deer being born for the first time. And I'm like, who doesn't know how to walk yet?
What an experience, though.
Oh yeah, and then within like the first couple lines of me singing, Kelly turned, and it was just like all the nerves just like went away. I was just thinking to myself, I can relax now.
You know, when we watch it on television and they hit the button to turn the chair, do you hear that when it goes poof and the chair comes around, or you just see the chair come around?
You do, but you don't.
Right,
it's kind of weird how it happens. Like, I mean, I have like monitors right in front of me. I'm saying like so many times. I have monitors right in front of me on the ground. And so I was listening to the music, and I was just focusing on that and trying to zone out everyone in front of me. I mean, you definitely, when I was in the back, you can hear when people like start to get a chair turn, because you hear like the boom or whatever, and then everyone starts screaming. So you understand that somebody had a chair turn. Mm-hmm. But for me, I was so focused on the music that all I saw was like the chair, like the light up, like little line. And it says like Kelly, or like Team Kelly, or something like that. And I was freaking out. I felt like I was just gonna die right there. I was like, okay, I'm done singing now.
Now, why did you pick, I'm out of here. See ya. Why did you pick Kelly?
Kelly has been my idol since I could remember.
Yeah, you did mention that. And so,
but she was my first concert that I ever went to. I always sang the song Because of You at every single talent show audition near my hometown. And I mean, there's probably still videos up of it on YouTube. That was a tongue twister as its own. Up on YouTube, and like you hear my grandma in the back yelling, all that stuff. And I don't know, she's always been someone that I looked up to and I idolized, and I really loved how she also did crossover genres, and she sang everything. And that woman is so kind and so genuine.
That's so awesome. I think they all are, though, whether it's Blake or anybody. They're all, they're real people. I've interviewed those people before, and they're, you know what? It's like me talking to you.
Exactly. And that was something that I really looked up to, because I mean, you always hear about the bad experiences with like celebrities and whatnot. But even like from my friends that were on the show beforehand, they were like, the judges are the best people ever. Like, they genuinely want to be there and like teach the artists that are on their team, which I think is so cool.
So with that being said, what did Kelly teach you?
For me, one thing that really stuck out to me was I remember I was in my rehearsal session for Nothing Breaks Like a Heart. And we started off the song, and if you know the song, it's like a very like da-da-dun, 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 like that kind of thing. Very giddy, but also very pop synth, kind of Dolly Parton vibes. And it was the songs that I'd done prior. I love to belt. I love to really soar over the top type of thing. And Kelly like sat me down. She's like, if you're going to do this, like, you got to do it your way. Otherwise it's not going to be believable. And that's one thing that I always have stuck with me, kind of what I brought up in the beginning. But she was saying, she just said, you need to be authentic to who you are. And if a song doesn't fit you, then you need to go in and fix it so it does fit you and make it your own. Because then you're no longer being compared to, obviously, the artist. You're your own artist, your own person. which I thought was really cool. So that's always stuck with me.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think about it and I talk to a lot of artists, and I've also talked to artists that they want to be like somebody else, and I'm like, why do you want to be like that person? You need to be yourself. You need to be unique. And here you're saying, yeah, you've got a song and you're going to do a cover of it, but you still got to make it your own.
And it's even for the fact of, I take inspiration from everybody around me and all the different artists that I listen to. And I can definitely tell you who are my big artists that I absolutely love. And you can hear little influences of them in my music, but it's not them. It's me. It's like my own little combination that makes me me. The same as when you hear a certain song, like when you hear that Miley Cyrus song, but it has some Dolly like references, you're like, okay, but this song is Miley. That's who she is.
Right.
So that's very important to me.
Exactly. Why country?
I mean, I'm from Norco, California, which is Horsetown, USA. Okay. So I've always been around like the lifestyle, I guess, of having that like country home feely kind of town. I mean, everyone knows everybody. The streets are painted red, white, and blue. You go to Starbucks or Taco Bell, and there is people on their horses in the drive-thru. No sidewalks, just horse trails. And so it's always been like everyone around me had always listened to it, as well as my family. So it's always been a part of who I am. I did when I was 10, when I first really started to get into music. I took vocal lessons and whatnot before, but
I was going to ask you about that. Go ahead.
Was introduced into the music industry, I was in a girl group, which is called the 5 LPs, or the 5 Little Princesses. We were like 5 little girls wearing like pink tutus that were like rhinestone, and we were and we sang pop music. And so I continued with that afterwards because that's all I knew. But I was
that like kids bop?
It was kind of in a way, but we were aiming. Like the group before I had joined, right before, they were signed to Britney Spears, and then once I joined, I got to meet the Jacksons. We were supposed to be doing things with them. They brought us out to Vegas. I got to perform for all of them, and then as well as Kelly Rowland. There was, in a way, if you kind of put like the Jacksons and like Destiny's Child and all these different groups, like, and just make them like kid version, but also still, I don't know what the right way to say it, but like aiming towards having like the older crowd. And I feel like with Kids Bop, a lot of it is specifically aimed towards kids.
Yes.
Which my group was, but also at the same time, it kind of, the music that we were making was a lot more mature, while still being very young. You can tell that we were very young and that we were doing age appropriate songs for what we knew, because I mean, we were 9 to 12.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, and we were very dance based, which when I first started the group, I could not dance. I showed up to the audition and I was like, I could do a somersault, and all these kids have like danced with Justin Bieber and all these. Wow. I'm like, oh my god, well, I'll be the backup singer.
And so you started at the age of 10.
I did.
All right, that's what, 9 years ago, 10 years ago now. I'm listening to your music before we went on tonight. Totally blown away with your voice. You could tell you've had some sort of voice lessons. You're very mature sounding for your age. I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
And if you're belting this out now at your age, give it another 5-10 years. I'm just going to be like, oh my God. I'm going to be the guy in the audience going, I had her on Skip Happens way back in the day around my podcast. Look at her now. But, all right, so you go to Nashville. How often do you get to Nashville?
I like to be out there every month and a half to 2 months. I try to be out there as much as I can, but also it is a little difficult when I have shows and whatnot going on out here. So just trying to find the time and really setting aside time for me to focus specifically on whether or not I'm in the studio or I'm writing or I'm performing, just kind of building a trip around that.
Yeah. So when you go to Nashville, it's pretty much, if not all, you're in a studio recording or writing. Do you write a lot of your own material?
I have written almost every song. I think I have 2 songs that are not released right now. But everything I either write or I co-write.
What do you want somebody to know about you? Because we have never met until tonight. Now we're face to face. And here again, and it happens quite often, to be honest with you, but I'm blown away with your song. You've got a song that was just released, Gamble on Me. And right, is it Gamble on You? It's
Sorry.
yep, Gamble on You. And that's what we were playing just a few minutes ago. Is that going to be hitting country radio, or has it, or what's going on with that?
So this song to me is more of like a here's who I am kind of song.
Okay.
Because I want people to, I do want to do things that are different from what you would normally hear, but also at the same time, I don't want it to be too far, because I also do want people to gravitate towards it, if that makes sense. I want there to still be a piece of me in everything. I mean, for me, my music is an complete extension of just myself, but in musical form. And in the lyrics that I write, or even if it's something that I've gone through, and it may not even be something that I've gone through, but it just feels like I can resonate with the song really well. Whether it be like I write from my friends' experiences, or I hear something that someone says, and then I try to put myself in their shoes. So that's something that I always want somebody to take away from when they listen to my music, is that everything that I have written and that is out and is put out to the world is all just an extension of myself. And I hope that they can take that and know that this is who I am.
Wow. You're right on track. You're right on track. Who's now? You're very close to Burbank, you said.
I am. I'm about 45 minutes.
About how much? I'm sorry.
45 minutes. So I'm not too far.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What's the price of gas there right now, though? Isn't it like $8 a gallon?
Oh, you don't want to know.
We're in the Northeast, and it's starting to go down a little bit. It's like $4 a gallon on the average. Some places are like $3.98, other places are $4.15. But
I think we're at like down by me, we're at like $5-6.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been up to LA in a while, but I'm pretty sure it's closer to like $6.
Yeah, I see signs, things online and stuff, and it's like in California, it's $8 a gallon. So I don't know. I'm not even going to go down that road. But
like, I was driving out to Arizona. It's in like the middle of nowhere. It's called Zizix. Try spelling that.
No.
And it's like ZYXYZ, and I'm like, what is that? And I think it was like $9 a gallon, and I was like, oh, good thing we got gas beforehand, guys.
Damn straight. Oh, that's a Scotty McCreery song. Yes,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Wow, that's crazy. You must have a celebrity crush on somebody. You're out there with the stars. I know when I went to LA, actually it was my wife. She had some business out there years ago, and I flew out with her, and we were in the where do they 90210 the hotel right there in Hollywood.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it.
Yeah. Is it the Hilton? Hollywood Hilton? I don't know. I don't remember. But I sat there in the lobby with the newspaper or a magazine in front of me, just like, and I saw Rod Stewart go by, and I'm like, I was that guy. Sitting in the lobby. But you must have a celebrity crush on somebody. You're out there where all the celebrities are.
I mean, not really.
No.
I wouldn't say that I have like a celebrity crush. I mean,
how about a country artist?
Country artists, there's so many I can name though.
Yeah.
I would say
Riley Green.
I feel like everyone says that, so yeah, probably.
You know why I said that? Because I saw in your bio, so I was
So yeah, I would say yeah.
Okay, if you could collaborate with anybody, who would that be?
I have 3 different artists that I would love to collaborate with.
Okay.
Well, okay, 5 technically.
Oh, it's growing. No, wait a minute. There's 8. No, Go ahead.
There's Carrie Underwood. I feel like is a no-brainer.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
I just love that, how much of like she's able to really sing and then pull it back, and you can tell just how vulnerable she is in those moments. I love that. I love Miranda Lambert because of how bad Apple. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
anything you want.
All right, how badass she is, and how much of like a kind of a girl boss in a way.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I really love me some Chris Stapleton.
Oh my God.
He is phenomenal, and he doesn't even have to be singing a lyric. He could just be singing like and then you're like, yep, I feel that. Yeah. Right there.
Yep, exactly. And he was around for a lot of years before he was actually putting out his own music. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? He was writing a lot for a lot of different artists. A lot of songs have that Chris Stapleton touch on them.
Yeah.
But then now it's Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he did a show up here in the Northeast last summer and it just blew me away. Blew me away.
He is phenomenal. And his vocals are insane, as well as the amount of soul and
Mhm.
grit that he puts into everything. It is, to me, is like musically perfect.
Mhm. Tell me about your family. Are you got brothers, sisters? Are they musicians, or are you the only one in the family that's doing this type of thing, or what?
It's me and my mom, my dad, and then I
Okay.
have two older brothers,
Okay.
as well as a cousin who has lived with me ever since she was born. So
Mhm.
she's like my little sister.
Awesome.
Yeah, and no one in the family is musical whatsoever. They cannot clap on beat or sing a right note to save their life. I love them to death, but they are not musically, what is the right word?
Inclined?
Musically inclined. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, and my dad though did tell me this weekend that in high school he used to play like the stand-up bass and like the cello and drums, and I was like, Dad, I
Oh.
can use this when people tell me or ask me if anyone in my family is musical. I've been saying because you're tone deaf. He's like, well, I mean, we still are, but
When you put you've got a thought and you're putting it to music, do you play it for your mom and dad or the family and say,
yeah,
"Hey, what do you guys think of this?"
it took me a while to get there, but I do.
Yeah.
For me, I wrote everything down, even if it was just like journaling, and so I would always like hide my journal, and then my little sister read it one day and like spilled my secrets to my mom.
Uh-oh.
Like, I'm
Did you
gonna
kick her ass? Nobody should be reading anybody's journal.
no, but I wanted to.
I
No,
bet.
just kidding. And but since then, with as much as I'm writing now, I have learned that there is no wrong or right
Mhm.
writing. Everything is there for a reason. Granted, there may be some really bad ones, some bad lyrics, like that just aren't good, but it
Right.
doesn't make them wrong. That's what I've
Oh,
learned.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And my thing is, even when I say it, when I do sing those songs for them, or I am telling them the lyrics, they are very supportive of me, but they also give me the criticism that I need to make it better. And they can even like say something that sparks an idea, and I'm like, okay, you know what? That's really cool. Let me write that down. I'm gonna go upstairs and go finish the rest of the song, and I'll come back. And it's all. I'm very lucky that they are so supportive of everything that I do. My
That's
entire family, they are at everything of mine, and I couldn't be more grateful for that.
Now, obviously, we know now you were on The Voice season 16, but what about shows like Idol? Did you ever think about doing something like that, American Idol, or there's other shows out there too? Or are you just ready to move on?
You know, I have thought about it. Actually a lot recently, but I ultimately right now I feel like I'm on a good path.
Mhm.
And with how busy I am, I don't want to kind of put that as like I don't know what the right way to say it, but just kind of I love what I'm doing right now, and I don't want to try to change it.
Right.
Up until I get to the moment where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm ready for this. I can do it again. I have time and I have commitment, and I can really sit down and actually dive into it. That's when I would do it.
Yeah, but do you really need it?
That is also another thing that runs.
Do you really want to, spend your time working on that when you've already got songs down, you've already gotten rave reviews, you've already been on that big stage, you've already done all this. I know there's a lot of artists that will go on and give it a shot at Idol, but my opinion is you're off and running.
Yeah.
You're already got the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Full steam ahead. So
and it that is one thing, and I just have with how much music I'm making too. I'm like I want to make that my priority and put everything out. But I also like been told to slow down. Like you can't put everything out yet, girl. Like we gotta time this out. We gotta strategically plan it. And I'm like, let it all out there. I don't want it anymore. Put it out.
So the pandemic, you must have had time to write a lot of songs and kind of put them off to the side and have them ready to go when it's time to release something. I think that was an advantage to a lot of artists.
That I feel like every artist can relate to, even for the fact when performing. That is one of my favorite things to do. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely took it for granted when COVID hit, and I was performing every weekend, multiple shows, and then all of a sudden it went to like nothing. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this time? And so I think like the first month and a half of like when COVID really started to get rampant here, I was freaking out because I was like, when are we gonna go back and doing shows? Everyone thought it was gonna be like, 2 more weeks, we'll be good.
Right.
2 weeks, we'll be fine. Oh, we only have a 3 more week like mandate, we'll be good. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. It was like a year in. But during that time, after like the first 2 months, I want to say, I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this time to my advantage right now. I'm sitting at home doing nothing. I would go on hikes or walks every day. I was like, I'm getting fresh air. I'm getting out of the house at the same time. I need to do something that's going to be beneficial for myself. Even if it goes nowhere and I don't use any of the songs, at least I'm writing and I can pull back from it later on.
Right.
And there's so many songs now where I'm like I'm in a session. I'm like trying to come up with like some like lyric ideas or something like that. And I like scroll down. There's like
there you go.
Songs like at least during that time. And I was like, oh, this could be a cool idea. Like, what does this work, guys? And they're like, yeah, the song's already written though. So
now I saw online. I mean, you've been doing some big shows, obviously. What was the one with the boots?
I just played not yesterday.
I think it was just in March. I saw the date on the video and I went, wow. And that crowd.
Oh yeah.
Whoever introduced you, and then for you to walk out, what is that moment like for an artist, especially somebody like you to walk out?
I'm moving around real quick. My charger. My computer decided to go from 40 to like 2%.
It's okay. It's funny because I was talking to Martina McBride here a while ago, and she had to do the same thing. All of a sudden, she's up walking around her house looking for a plug. She's like, hold on, Skip, I got to get a plug. Yep,
I did not think that was going to happen, but hey, this computer is like 4 years old, so it would make sense why it's doing this now.
Using a PC or a Mac?
Yeah, I'm using a Mac, which is kind of surprising. But, all right.
Yeah, we're usually pretty good. Everything I do is on a Mac.
So. Yep, there we go. Now we're good. But I opened up in March. On March 12th, I opened up for Tim McGraw and Dustin Lynch, as well as Craig Morgan, Morgan Evans, and Claire Wright. And so that was a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, yeah. And then 2 days ago, I opened up at another Boots in the Park show, but out in San Diego. And I opened up for Blake Shelton, Carly Pearce, Young, Van Perry, and Ian Munsick. So I was very, very excited to be for that one.
I haven't seen the band Perry lately because they've kind of went off the radar with the country side of things.
Yeah, I was surprised that when I saw that they were playing that show, I was freaking out. And I was like, Mom, do you know who they are? And she was like, I think so. Like, my mom's like the worst with artist names unless it's like Blake Shelton or Tim McGraw. But she's like, what's that song? What's that song again? I'm like, it's If I Die Young, Bury Me Inside. And she was like, started freaking out at that point. I was like, how do you not know who they are, Mom? Like, I mean, obviously she knew who they were, but not.
She's a busy woman.
Oh, yeah.
So are you, though.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just saying. But so what's it like for an artist like you to walk out on that stage with thousands of people looking at you? So many people you could probably walk on the heads. You know what I mean? Everybody's like close together and everybody's cheering. What is that like?
It is the most gratifying feeling I feel like any artist, no matter how big or small, can feel because of the fact that we wouldn't be able to do any of these shows without the people that are in the crowd.
That is true.
No one would be able to have a career without those people supporting them in everything that they do. And that's something that I've always lived by and held so closely to my heart because of the fact that I wouldn't be able to do music and be doing all these amazing and cool things. I wouldn't be fortunate enough to do it if I didn't have the people that listen to my music to support me in my music. And so when I walk out there, it's just the most liberating and feeling of joy and happiness. And I get to do it with the people that I love surrounding me and on stage with me. And it's just so cool to know.
Tell us about your band. Are they friends? Are they neighbors? Are they, everybody's different.
So, okay, in my small town, I did not think there was going to be like any musicians that like play music for a living. Like I knew that there was going to be like people there that kind of like mess around type of thing. And then I met, which is my bassist, and his name is Justin Foots. And I knew his wife from something that I have done in the past where I sing the national anthem, and I was introduced to him, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this could be cool. Like I have a couple shows, like and I was already starting to write with him a bunch, and I was like, this would be cool. Like, would you want to do it with me? I'd love to have you. And he was like, yeah, like let me call a bunch of people together. Like we'll get this going. And I was like, oh my gosh, like are you serious? And even this past weekend, I was talking with my drummer, Jeff Sorensen. And it was just so cool the talk that we had, because I feel like a lot of bands, or a lot of people who play are a lot of like pay or not, they're like a hire to play. For like those little one-time gigs, but and they all kind of know each other. Everyone knows each other, but it's not the same as like being with each other 24, not 24/7, but like
close to it.
Same group over and over again. And so the camaraderie that everyone has, I mean, we have two of the kids, and one of them just turned 18, the other one's 17.
That's cool.
And I'm 19. So it's like I have like the young like camaraderie with them. And then but I'm also very mature, so I get along with everyone else in the band. And we have some really incredible players. We have Christian Capitelli, who's on acoustic guitar. We have Dustin Flory on guitar, don't know how you want to say electric guitar, and then we have Jimmy on guitar as well.
Do you have a steel?
We don't have a steel. I wish we did. I wish we did. Not on the budget right now.
Soon though. Soon.
Oh, yeah.
Are these the same guys that you would take into the studio with you?
I mean, this is like the first couple shows that I've played with them.
Okay.
Just because also I'm out in Nashville every time that I record, and they have like their sessions.
Oh, that's true.
They always have on standby that are doing everybody's songs. They just sit in the studio from like 10 a.m. to like midnight. See, that's a lot of people don't realize that. You as an artist, you go into a studio and then they're like, yep, somebody's here. They want us to do a song. And all right, there's a drummer, there's a guitar player, there's a steel player, there's, oh yeah, and you have to pay them for the session, and then yeah,
but they're not the guys that would be out with you on a stage.
I mean, they definitely can be, but they also are, when they're out in Nashville, everyone's working out there all times.
Right.
So my favorite part of being in Nashville, everyone out there is somehow in music, whether they're producers or engineers, or they're musicians, or they're singers, or they're songwriters. Everyone out there knows each other and is so heavily connected to one another, which I think is really cool.
I'm talking about Nashville. We were there at the same time and had no idea. Did you go to the ping pong thing?
I did not that night. I wish I did. That was the second night, I believe.
Where a lot of the big stars, I forgot what night, was it like Thursday night or something, but it was a lot of the big stars. They did a ping pong. They did it a couple of years ago.
Rock was there, and I saw it the day, like the morning after, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would have loved to have met Kid Rock.
He's cool.
I saw him perform out at the Stockyards, Texas. I think it was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen.
His car, I was blown away by his rolls. I mean, I know Kid Rock was standing over here, but I'm like going, look at this car.
You're like, hey, Kid Rock, can I go in your car right now?
What if I just take a look at your car?
Can you take it for a little ride?
Yeah. What did so were you there for the whole thing? For the whole all the meetings and all that?
I just turned in for the night at that was the only night that I stayed in. I was exhausted, and the time difference was a lot. It's only 2 hours, but like getting up at like 7 already.
Right.
No, I'm not so much of a morning person.
Not many artists are.
California time, and then I have to get up at like it's 5, I think.
Now, Presley, was this your first time going to the country radio seminar?
It was, and it was a whirlwind, but it was also the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is,
if people don't know, this is where people like myself, I work in radio and I do a podcast and I do all this, and we talk to the artists like we're doing here. But these are meetings with the record labels, and we learn about how we can make our product better, and we get to network with the artists such as Presley and all different levels of artists, and everybody's so cool, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much to do. And it's always, right about the same time every year in Nashville. No, wait, but they're moving the date next year. But anyways, it's great. So did you got a chance to walk around and say hi to programmers and meet a lot of people and do all that, because that's so important, that connection.
And it's just meeting people, and even if it's like you don't have like you don't get to know them like very, very much, but it's like you're a familiar face now, and it's now when we cross paths again, it's like oh, I've already met you. Like
Right.
remember this time? Oh, I took a picture. Do you want to see that type of thing? Which I thought was so cool. And especially since it's like all the radio stations like across the US were all in the same place at one time, and how much everyone knew each other, even like friends that I haven't seen in so long or that I have known through just social media, and then I finally got to meet them there. It was, I don't know, it was a very fun time for me, as well as a lot of learning. I mean, I remember sitting in like the Spotify seminar, and I learned so much that I did not know was even a thing through Spotify, and I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to go try these once I get home.
And I have to tell you, to make sure that you are, if somebody else is watching this that wants to be an artist or wants to learn more about it, it's a great opportunity. But this past, when we were there just a few weeks ago, it was more of it was scaled down a lot because of the pandemic.
That's
Even though your first time, you think, oh my God, this is great, but you haven't been to the others. You know, I've gone for over 20 years, and it's like, this is crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I kept telling people, I was like, this is my first one. They always ask like, oh, is this your first CRS, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, it's my first one. They're like, oh, you should have been here right before the pandemic hit. This is like nothing what it is or how it used to be. They were like, it's doubled, if not tripled the amount of people and how many seminars are going on at one time type of thing.
It's just, it's crazy. But it's a great place to be. It's a great place to be. Yeah. Somebody now, like everybody knows by now, you're 19, soon to be 20. What if we have somebody watching that says, you know what, that's what I want to do. Look at her. That's what I want to do. What advice would you give that person?
I would say keep trying everything until it feels right, and take everything in, no matter what, like people tell you, take it all in, because you have no idea. Even if you don't agree with it when they first tell you something, it doesn't hurt to try anything, because you don't know until you try it.
True.
And even if it doesn't work, you can just say, oh, I already did that, but it didn't work out for me. I'm moving on from it. Now I get to do something else. Or maybe it leads you to it opens another door, or leads you down a different direction.
Don't give up.
Yeah. And always be a sponge. And just learn everything, continue to grow, because as soon as you feel like you have, like, you know it all, you're done growing. And if you've hit your capacity, you can't get any better. You're in a plateau right there. So you might as well continue to grow. How
many times have you been told no?
Oh, so many.
Exactly. That's my point. That's what and look at you. You're kicking butt here, doing what you're doing. Yet, you know, it's a lot of that. So you got to be able to accept it and move on.
Yeah. I mean, there's that saying, you're going to be told no so many more times than you're going to be told yes. It's just whether or not you're going to be persistent and keep doing what you do and keep growing before you get that yes. And when you get it, it's going to be a lot more, I don't know, rewarding.
Yeah. No, true. Very true. Do you get to perform in Nashville?
I do.
Out and about? Like, whereabouts if you're in Nashville, where are some of the places that you perform?
So I performed at Live Oak. And then actually this upcoming trip that I'm doing in May, I'll be performing at Bluebird.
Yay!
Yep. And I will be also at Tin Roof. Those are my 2 confirmed ones right now, as well as just doing a few showcases for some publishing companies, which I'm very excited.
Tin Roof is cool. The Bluebird is
historically legendary.
Yeah. I've had a lot of friends perform there, and they tell me that, you know, everybody's so focused on you. They're quiet. Nobody's talking. They're listening to you and your product. You know, it's just so intense.
And I love places like that because of how intimate the setting is.
That's the word I was looking for, intimate.
And it's so different from a normal like concert or a show, because I mean, usually you have a full band and people are there to have a good time, and maybe even if they aren't really paying attention to the music, at least they're just listening to everything and they're in the same presence. But it's like in those settings, everything is focused on you, and it's most times just you and a guitar or you and a guitarist. And it's like you really get to dive into every single word the artist is singing and what it means to them and what was the inspiration behind the song. You get the full picture from beginning to end.
Yeah. What is the hardest thing for you right now? You're an independent artist. You're running your own show, so to speak. What's the hardest thing for you?
This one is, for me, is a disadvantage, but also an advantage. I guess if you want to put it in those words, but it is because of how old I am. A lot of times, especially when I was younger, I mean, now it's definitely better. But a lot of times I feel like people don't take me as seriously as they would to someone who has a couple more years on me. Because at that point, they also are like, oh, they're already mature, like they've already gone through it, blah, blah, blah. They're in this point in their state or of their life where they're like, they know it's time. But it's like, for me, I've been doing it just as long as everybody else has. And so they don't necessarily understand that until I open my mouth and I'm like, this is who I am. Like I know my sound. I know who I am. And then they were like, oh, okay. Like she actually is, she can be with them. She can hang with the big dogs.
Do you handle all your own social media?
I do. I mean, I have a team who is phenomenal behind it, but everything else, like DMs, comments, all those things, even like post wise, it's about split 50-50 for that. But everything else is me.
So you're using TikTok?
I'm sorry?
TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's, so many are doing it and even more getting into it every day.
I feel like TikTok is like one of those social media apps where you just kind of can let go and be fun. Not everything has to be like strictly business, and you can kind of show your personality a little bit more. I mean, social media, the one thing with social media that I love is that you can put out what you want, but also at the same time, a lot of times people don't get to see what's really going on, or like there may be like this one image and that's it of you. So like with TikTok, you can kind of like show who you are as a person, like say that like you have a sense of humor, like, oh, you thought this person was like stone cold, but you know what? They're actually the funniest person that you're ever going to meet. That type of thing.
I love it. When you doing your thing, when did you realize that you needed somebody to handle like all your press? Like that's who got a hold of me. And I love these people. They are so good. When do you realize though, you know what? I need to get some help here.
For me, it was just honestly trying to, I mean, there was multiple ways that I could put it, but trying to get myself out there, but as well as having a team to help push me in certain, like to push me. I mean, everyone has their capabilities and has their strengths and knows their limits, but sometimes it needs a little bit of like a push behind them. And so my team has been nothing but phenomenal.
Nice.
And I absolutely love everything that they do. And that's Burning Ground Entertainment and Core PR. They are phenomenal.
Core PR is great. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They are just not only phenomenal as like a company, but phenomenal people. And that I really enjoy just even talking to and like being around. Oh, yeah. And I feel like that's so important because if you don't have like the chemistry and
it's not going to work if you don't have that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Do you like sports?
I do. I really do.
What do you?
I watch a lot of soccer and hockey.
The Anaheim Ducks, right?
Oh yeah. I'm guessing you're not an Anaheim Ducks fan, but not ways.
No. But that's okay. That's okay.
Oh yeah.
We're big into baseball here. So.
I don't know much about baseball. I've sang at a few different games, but that's about it. That's my extent for baseball.
And the season here in where we are in Syracuse, New York, the season opens up tomorrow. But the major leagues actually open up on the 7th, so it's right around the corner, depending on when you're watching this. But that's coming up real soon. So we're big in baseball. We do have a hockey team, but they're. What are they? Semi-pro? Is that what you call them? Like they're not really the big guys. They're one below. Like baseball would be AAA, and then that's one step below the majors. So same idea. Same idea. So what do you do for fun?
I mean, I would say like a thrill seeker.
Okay.
I just like being very active as well during, or not summertime, wintertime. I am always in the mountains snowboarding. I could live in the mountains during the winter and be snowboarding every single day if I could. But lift tickets are so expensive for no reason anymore. And I would go to Big Bear and it's like $40 for like a day pass, and now I'm paying like $150 for a day pass. I'm like, okay, well, I gotta pick and choose my times, but I gotta like like a season pass, I guess, for Christmas. So I was like, all right, I'm using the hell out of this right now.
So how many snowboards do you have?
I mean, okay, it's kind of funny.
Okay.
I've skied my entire life, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I snowboarded for the first time 3 years ago, and one of the girls that I was with was so good. I felt so bad that she took me, except I told them that I wanted to go on the bunny slope for my first time. You know what they took me down? A black diamond. And I was like, girl.
Like the killer's slope?
We got on the lift, and this is like a little resort down by me. And we got on the lift, and I'm like, guys, like the bunny slope's down there. Where are we going right now? And they're like, don't worry about it, Presley. Just keep going. And I was like, what? So we get up, and I'm like, I get up, I go down, fall. Get up, go down, fall. I try to get up, can't get up, keep trying for like 5 more minutes. I finally get up, go down, fall. I think we went on 2 runs the entire time, and I was like, guys, I can't do it anymore.
Did you watch the snowboarding with the Olympics?
I not on TV, but I do watch it like through TikTok. I see like all the highlights.
Yeah, Shaun White.
Oh yeah,
unbelievable. You know, wow, just great. You know, it's been great chatting with you tonight. Finding out about you, I feel like I've known you forever now. Whoops, I didn't want that to play. See, I hit something.
Well, thank you for having me.
Do you know what that was? You get it right, I'll send you a Skip Happens mug.
I drank a little more beer.
I'll probably send you a mug anyways, but
It's over. We go there or they come here. Ever since so
It sounds so familiar,
they
but
get us every season. I wish I could say that's the only reason. I hate Alabama.
that's what it is.
Who? I hate Alabama.
Yep. I was thinking for some reason my mind went to Carolina. I was like, I know it's one of the states, but it's
yeah, it's Connor Smith. I didn't mean to even play that. I just hit it with my hand here.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, if you can guess this. No. But you've been awesome to chat with tonight. It's great to get to know you. Love your music.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for being a part of Skip Happens. I'm going to keep a close eye on it, and hopefully we can get you into our rotation. And you know, even the other music you had on here, it's all great. And I just can't believe I haven't really heard much of this up until now.
Well, hey, I mean, it's happening now.
I know it is. And that's the other advantage of doing these things when people start reaching out and say, hey, you want to, I'd like to get Presley Tennant on your podcast. Would you like to talk to her? And I'll look at it and go, yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. And then I learn as a programmer too, because being an independent artist, sometimes it's hard to get your music out there to be heard. Mm-hmm. So it takes a lot of work. But once it gets heard and once people start liking it, one fan at a time, and before you know it, you're climbing that chart. So,
oh yeah, exactly.
And you're still very young, but very talented, very mature sounding. You've got it all going. You get the full package. So just really good stuff. If we have a viewer that wants to go to PresleyTennant.com, what are they going to find on your website? You can find a little bit of everything. There's all my music videos laid out, and my newest one is actually coming out very soon, which I'm excited for, which is April 20th, and that's for Gamble on You. And you can find all my social media there as well, which is all either at Presley Tennant, so PresleyTennant, and my Facebook is Presley Tennant Official, because Presley Tennant was taken, and I was kind of upset about it, but we had to go with the next best thing, so. Yeah, there you go. And this is the new release. I'm going to play a little bit of this again. Here we go. I just want everybody to hear this. We opened with it. We'll close with it. Ladies and gentlemen, Presley Tennant. 3 a.m. and you're pulling me in. Tattooed skin and a little bit of gin. Your green eyes got me feeling right, and your smile's got me hypnotized. Some say it's a dangerous game. What a shame if I didn't play. If you play your cards and I roll my dice, I'm all in if I'm yours tonight. Don't be a joker or play me for a fool.
I'll be the queen of your king since you asked me to. But don't for now, 'cause I'm taking a gamble on you.
Wow. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Get it, download it, do what you got to do. You buy it, you support her and her efforts to getting on the radio even more. So you got to love that. Presley Tennant, say hi to everybody in California for me, because I don't know anybody there, but just tell them I said hello.
I will.
When you go up into Burbank, have you ever pulled up to like an intersection and look over and go, oh my God, that's Justin Timberlake?
Oh yeah, it's happened a few times.
Really?
Oh yeah. It was all during The Voice though. I was in an Uber and I was like, oh my gosh, there's this person right next to me. Or I was in the lobby of the hotel and then all of a sudden Billie Eilish walked in and I was like, Billie, we're taking a picture. Sorry.
Did you get a pic?
Who I am, huh?
Did you get a pic?
I did.
Oh,
It's
cool.
somewhere on my phone. And then her friends ended up staying in the hotel. And so we all kind of ended up hanging out a little bit. So it was kind of cool.
Wow. Just great stories. I love it. You're in a great part of the world. Stay safe. And I hope to meet you. I hope to, if you go on a radio tour, don't forget about us in the Northeast.
Oh,
I'm in Nashville every so often. Not as much as my partner Deb is. Deb runs a company out there called the Audience Company, and it's called Audco. And what they do is they supply audiences for artists that are putting shows on, like they're going to record it for TV or something like that. It's up to her. So it's good to know when you're in Nashville.
Yeah.
And because she would contact you, and she has done this with other artists that we've talked to, saying, "Hey, I'm doing a recording. If you're in Nashville, you're welcome to come and hang out."
That is so cool.
Because it's a great way to network too.
Oh yeah.
Because there's going to be other people there like you that you would want to meet. So,
oh yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
Shaking hands, babies. I love it. Presley Tennant, everybody. Again, thank you for joining us here tonight on Skip Happens. I want you to hang out so we can talk just for a moment. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.